2, 1, action.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Suzzane and I will be your hostess for this show. In today's show, we'd like to talk about an important subject which has been controversial for a very long time: military spending and arms distribution. Our special guests are Bram Nap, in favor of large amounts of military spending. Opposing his side will be Selina van Luijken, Robin Schouten. Now, I believe this is a very interesting subject because it applies to every country. It is something which concerns people of every age group. There are huge differences in military spending in different countries. We will be looking at the pros and the cons living in a country which spends a large amount of money on its army and weapons. Each side will be able to state their opinion and reasons. Now, before we look at the real numbers and really get the discussion going, can I just get a really short main stance from both of you? Bram, would you like to start?
Of course. Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Right, that doesn't really answer my question, but okay, Robin, what's your main stance on military spending and gun control?
Gun-related accidents kill people as well. It's easier to kill people with guns than with your knives.
That's your main stance. Are you sure that's not just a counter-argument for what Bram just said? No? Well, this promises to be a fun discussion. Okay, so let's bring out some numbers. It is estimated that there are a total of 75 million small arms distributed among civilians, law enforcement agencies, and armed forces. Globally, of these firearms, 650 million or 75% are held by civilians worldwide. US civilians alone account for 270 million of this total. This seems like a very large amount of weapons. How necessary are they really?
Well, as the research shows, 75% of all firearms is held by civilians. There's no way we can keep track of all of those weapons. It's too dangerous for everyone to just have guns. But of course, there's the argument of self-defense. But sometimes self-defense is taken too far and can end up in war.
It will end up in war. Well, that escalated quickly, but Ron, what do you have to say?
Humanity will always go to war. It's human nature. Defending ourselves is the only thing that keeps us safe. Other communist countries are obsessed with expansion. We must keep ourselves safe. We cannot become complacent. Yes, in many government spending needs to be reduced, but we must cut in things such as health, education, and welfare. The survival of our nation depends on the military, and the world is becoming more dangerous. War will happen again. We must be prepared by spending enough money on our defense capabilities. Neville Chamberlain wanted to cut defense spending in Britain. Appease Hitler, he said. There will be peace in our time, he cried. He was sure of it. That was in 1938. The increase of military spending is the only way to ensure that we will continue to exist and stay strong. The priority over health and education. The US is already a big spender. It is the area which spends 48% of all the money on military things. Europe, with only 20%, is falling behind. We should spend more so we can be compatible with the US and defend ourselves against threats. Russia takes third place in military spending. We cannot defend ourselves against them at this moment.
Okay, so you're saying that we need to defend ourselves against enemies such as Russia
And other communist nations.
Okay, Robin, your response.
We do not believe that war is upon us. And if that were to be true, it wouldn't have much effect to spend more money on the military. The damage done by the countries involved will be too great, and something that's called mutual assured destruction.
Can you explain to the audience what that means?
It's when both fighting nations are so powerful that when a war breaks out, they will completely destroy each other. Back in the day, when such a scenario was unthinkable, a proper military armory was very useful. But the point isn't having a highly functional army anymore. It's become about having the most destructive bombs. We believe that since we are having an economic crisis right now, we should focus our resources on trying to fix that instead of investing in more equipment.
So the economy is a more important point to you. What do you have to say about that, Ron?
We cannot improve our economy. The Roman Empire cut military spending and was invaded by German tribes shortly afterward. The Song tribe of China put its military funding into the arts and was conquered by the Mongols. The Tang Empire, the empire preceding the Song, put a large portion of its revenue into the military and became extremely powerful because it increased relationships between the Koreans and the Japanese.
Okay, I see. So let me get this straight. According to you, we shouldn't invest money in our economy because these nations from the past were invaded when they invested money in anything but the military. But are these examples still relevant today, Selina?
Well, I agree that war and military spending are a concern at all times, but money has also been a concern for a long time. Aren't there better ways to spend our money, like education, or do something about poverty and the lack of food in some countries? Will there still be money left to spend on this?
Well, that didn't really answer the question, but you bring up a good point though. Then would you care to try and answer them?
The answer is simple. Good spending elsewhere. Everything were to take a 10 to 15% cut, excluding military, in revenue, just as most Americans have in this current economic state, America would see a drastic increase in profit. Yes, this includes the Environmental Protection Agency, which kills jobs anyway, the Internal Revenue Service, which needs to reform anyway, Social Security, which should be reformed in an optional government-funded retirement fund anyway, and unemployment and welfare, which encourages general laziness anyway. If America does this, government will be safer, smaller, and America will be better protected.
You heard the man, folks, cutting money in everything except the military. How do you feel about that?
Well, the US needs to prioritize what the military does. For one, they can stop going over and fighting so that other nations can have democracy and food, and instead let the government protect their own people.
Oh, wait a second, you're against excessive military spending, right? You're anti-war, but you believe that the US brings democracy and food
It is
when
clear
fighting.
that history shows that military is
Excuse me?
needed. And America has the money, and America needs to adjust the cost and the actions taken. When America does this, the lives of Americans are better protected and the government can do its main job, to maintain the freedom of residents.
Thank you. From the impression I've been given that main reason why so much money is invested in the military is because people think there will be another war. If we were to assume that an actual war would happen, what kind of effects do you think this will have on people, on the stability of the economy, and on possible technological advancements?
Surely those who have experienced the war will probably be haunted with horrible traumatic memories for a long time, if not the rest of their lives. And they still won't feel safe or protected, and they'll be afraid something like this will
I
happen
don't
again.
think this is the case. After the war is won, people would feel safe. But if there weren't any more weapons or military to protect them, I'm sure they wouldn't feel safe.
But still, after a war has occurred, countries are in ruins. The government will have to rebuild all of those houses, and many are homeless and have lost many family and positions. I don't think such events will have a positive effect on the
After
economy
and
of the
during
country.
World War II, America's economy grew rapidly due to war politics. By putting people to work in factories to make weapons, they could still make money. Besides that, many inventions are made during wars. Take for example penicillin in World War I. This was an invention that was life-changing even after the war. I don't agree with you.
Well, I think it's time to end this discussion. Thank you for joining us today. Please tune in again next time. We'll be talking about
It will not
abortion. Oh God.
ever
Well, have a wonderful day until next
Never.
time.